as we were alluding to, those triple digits are on the way eventually, and you're going to want to start thinking about your car, especially if you want to maybe head to high country or head somewhere else where it's a little bit cooler.
Maybe you've been putting things off, like me. Cars, we know, can heat up really quickly, and it can lead to complications. And what if you need new tires? You know, do you get them now before the weather really heats up? Aleda is live for us this morning with answers to all of your car questions, because it sounds like now is about the time we need to start doing some maintenance if we've been neglecting it.
Good morning, ladies. Yeah, I've been learning a lot about things I maybe should do now before the summer hits. And so that's why we've been talking to Jim, because he has all the answers. And to answer your question, Kylie, it's actually not a weather issue for your tires. It's an age issue. Is that correct? So what should Kylie do for her tires before we get into those triple-digit temperatures?
Okay, one, you want to make sure it's the right tire pressure, which is written on your door frame. You want to make sure that you have good tire tread, which you can check with a penny. And you want to make sure that the tires are not too old. 7 to 10 years, that's a pretty long life for most tires on most vehicles. If you got tires that are older than that, it's time to change them.
All right, take notes on that, Kylie. Remember, it's age, not weather. So check when you got your tires last. But let's also focus on, in an emergency situation. Those temperatures can be, brutal out there, especially if your car breaks down. So, I know you were saying this is actually a fact that no one really knows, but why is it important to always keep a quarter tank of gas?
Well, you want to keep fuel in your tank because, most of the other fluids in your vehicle, it cools stuff, including your fuel pump. If your fuel pump gets too hot, it will overheat and it'll fail, and that'll cost you.
Yeah, and so we have a table here with all the essentials that Jim believes every driver should have. So let's kind of go over what we're seeing right here. Let's start from this side and then kind of go down.
Okay, this is an old school basic roadside assistance kit. You got old jumper cables, some flares, fixed flat. That's old school and it works fine. But newer flares, you can use reflectors and LED flares. They will last a lot longer and they don't look as dirty in your car. First aid kit is great. You should have one in every vehicle. It's good to have a blanket or something, because if you have to get on the ground or near your vehicle, it's good to have something to keep between you and that 400-degree asphalt. Gloves, a rag, flashlight, cell phone. If you have this type of jumper battery, you can charge your cell phone with it and jumpstart your car. So unlike those old battery cables, this is something that new school. Everybody should have one of these in their car. If your air conditioning is not keeping you cool, one of the things that could be a factor is the cabin air filter. If that filter gets restricted, you're not going to get good airflow through it. And if you don't have good airflow, doesn't matter whether the air conditioning is working well, you're never going to feel it.
And over here, these are some items that you can actually buy on your own to help check your fluids, correct? Because that's also very important as well.
Well, these are things you can buy, or a lot of technicians use. They're little litmus strips that you can put in a fluid like brake fluid or coolant, and it'll test it. Testing your coolant for pH balance, for electrolysis, there are ways to test your cooling system and many of the chemicals in your car. The transmission fluid, you can't really test it, but looking at it will give you a pretty good idea where it's at.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. And Kylie, don't worry if you don't remember the tips he just gave you for those tires. He says he will email me all the steps to remember how to do that. But again, it's as simple as a penny. There's a lot of things that you can do just to be preventative to keep your car from getting in the shop and spending a lot of money on it.